Here we're watching, and some
I thought you were talking about me for a second.
Talented casters are here casting it. That's us, Ben.
We're not actually
God, I hate myself.
Fortnite yet. I'm going to go cry now. Madsen and TC all the way up top.
Happy Easter! Hold these eggs! That's what Madsen just said. Dropping them on down. And that's one of the first times we've actually seen the grenade launcher literally used. We've seen far more minigun plays than the grenade launcher in the last few days.
You actually commented on it yesterday specifically that it just hasn't. We haven't seen it emerge nearly as many times, but lo and behold, Jack, here we are today.
Yes.
6 elims for this duo, hanging out in the southeast corner of the map here, stuck on the side of a hill. 50 players total, 27 duos remaining, and shots from above, a little bit of pressure, and TC does get knocked. The stink, why we talked about it before, really, really good at zoning, but it might not be good enough in this moment. We'll see. Madsen might be able to drop down and pick TC up still, and I think he can here, walling off.
The goal, yeah.
Trying to take ownership of all these surfaces, and he does get the pickup.
Now, if you don't really play competitive and you thought people thirst a lot in public games, I'm going to tell you a quick little thing right now. In these custom lobbies, a downed player is like finding a treasure in real life. For me, that would be a double chicken burrito. I am doing everything in my power to get that in my hands and to secure that. That's exactly what we're seeing right here. There it is. The elimination comes in. I think a lot of that was the help from the two players nearby in that box who stopped Toesh from being able to be rezzed. Wait, Flint knock? Did you just see what just happened?
7,000
That was 3
IQ.
balloons, Flint knock, to try to fly up to the high ground and then potentially redeploy, but doesn't actually work. But you say 7,000 IQ as Madsen falls to their depth, but Ben, to be able to make that happen, you need to, if they had redeploy, you need to carry a Flint knock, carry balloons, and carry redeploy. So at that point, what do you even have? Uh-oh, this is a scary duo right here, Ben.
Benji
NRG,
Savage.
Benji Fishy, and Mr. Savage M. I remember a famous quote, well, not famous quote. Typically when you say that, you like quote Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
I was going to quote something I heard from Chap stream.
Famous? Yeah, right.
Okay, sorry. No, I was watching Chap at one point, and I remember him mentioning how he was like grateful that he said, quote unquote, the 2 best players in the world can't actually, wouldn't be able to participate in the Fortnite World Cup. But that was before it was announced that 13 and up could. And he was referencing the duo at the time of Mr. Savage M and Mangral, who are both European-based. Well, guess what? They can now compete because of the updated rules, and they are scary, scary players to watch.
If it was Chap stream, I'm sure he went and said something positive. Right after that, we see Benji and Mr. Savage pushing their way into the next section of the storm. Ballers knocking down every wall that they're trying to put up, and he catches the player off guard. Inside, the trap goes down. Multiple traps going down. The pickaxe knocked down on Nuk, and the elimination there. That's 5 now for them. 22 teams left. They're looking at placement as potentially the next source of points.
So Mr. Savage M was one of the first players that I really learned this from in regards to always being so in touch with how many materials you have. You will never see an overbuild in some of these walls. Look, the back's being completely covered. Also, he is one of the best players in the world at speed building out those tunnels like you just saw right there. How smooth this build is absolutely insane. You'll see exactly every move is calculated from this player. 170 HP now, 6 eliminations, 1 just came on in. Definitely wants to get more materials here soon. It looks like this will be the opportunity he's looking for. Shots, there it is. Can't loot though, but another point on the board.
8 elims total, 13 now. They're in placement point range. The Storm's still a little bit ahead. They don't have much in terms of rotation, but they still have materials like you wouldn't believe. Only on their brick, still sitting on most likely quite a bit of metal in the inventory. Up top here. Catches Roa off guard. The first elim for this duo. 12 teams left now. 6 minis, only 20 builds left. Starting to burn through quite a few materials, and at this point he's got to start looking for any opportunity to yoink someone on rotation. Speaking of the yoink, there it is. Johansson goes down and picks up the duo, both eliminations. A ton of mats in there, and he's going to duck back out super quick.
That was
up
huge.
to 100 builds.
Yep, that was actually huge to get right there. Now kind of overbuilding towards this next zone, just making sure they can live for as long as possible. Those two elims actually secured the top 10 placing for IFC. Now in the same box as a baller. Thankfully, the baller just gets on out of there, which is typically the path it takes. IFC just hiding for the moment. No shields left. 200 damage pump shot to live to see another moment again in this one. Back up to 121 total builds, and the heavy sniper picked up as well. This is their wall. It's a free elimination right in front. There it is. Now up to 6 total elims for this duo. Continuing to push through for this low ground. Thankfully, it's Wood nearby. There's one player just behind. Oh, no, I thought they had this shot to come on in. It doesn't work out, though, in the end. Provokd now stuck outside the zone. Does make it back in time, so won't fall to the storm damage yet.
Just on the edge. He's got 2 campfires in his inventory, an opportunity to top that HP off unless he can get a Siphon elim here in just a second, and he might. Goes for the shot inside the box, gets caught with Mel on the inside, but does get that elim. He's got to tunnel his way out. The storm is ticking for so much right now, Jack. 4 players, 3 players, all solos. Limbo in a 1v1 with Hayko down below. It's Provokd and Hayko. Provokd's got the top down. Very little HP, Jack. He's just going to waterfall his way down. Doesn't want to drop too far.
Hayko's stuck in the zone. He slid all the way down.
He's still safe. The very edge. The bottom right corner of the screen, trying to take tap fire from underneath. Hayko looking to break every branch he can. Provokd, the top down, Jack.
Provokd's got to place these campfires. Beautifully placed.
Here we go.
Nicely done.
Hayko literally waiting, no builds. He has 7, look at the ammo, 7 medium rounds, 9 shotty shells, and 8 small. That's it. He's got nothing else. Provokd just has to wait this out, and he could potentially get the win on a drop-in with the pump shot. Here we go, Jack.
This is it. Provokd with the drop! Hayko with the win! Provokd had a redeploy. So at that point, you try to redeploy down low.
He didn't want to take the fall damage.
And the thing was, is he had so little. So here's the quick breakdown from my end, right? Let's go to the mind of Jack Courage Dunlop right here as we hop into our next game. What we just saw right there in the 1 versus 1. The campfires were used. He had 30 HP, could take only a couple ticks of the zone before he winds up dropping. You can't waterfall down at that point because of how tight the zone is. Literally waterfalling down, plus the fact that that player he would expect to spray up at you 100%. Would wind up either dropping you down to your death or you'd take too much storm damage. So the hand's kind of forced. I've got to drop in, hope to redeploy, have them whip the shot, and then hit my 1 pump after. But in the end, it's just not possible to work on out. Boyer and Kripa, the first players to watch in this game. What a dramatic ending to that last one, Lupo.
Absolutely insane. I almost expected at that point, you go for the redeploy and you're going to leave yourself exposed. In a situation like that, maybe just going full send and waiting to the very last moment to try and hit that pump shot, because the closer you are, the spread is tighter on your opponent's. If you're going for a headshot, you look for every chance you can to focus as much damage as possible. Waiting for that last second hit might have been the play, and if you miss it, then you're going to hit the ground, take the fall damage, and get eliminated anyway. It's kind of a toss-up.
Yep. You can make an argument on either side, sort of thing.
Exactly.
But Boyer now just continuing to peek on out through these edits. They are pre-set up in this zone. 2 Rift to goes, Slurp Juice, Heavy Sniper.
Oh
beams,
my gosh.
Beams, Mishmosh. And you got to think, they want to secure this drop that's about to fall on in. Now I'm surprised they're not building any pyramids, especially when they have, just 1 layer of floor below them. They haven't done it yet. Here's a look at
Majin, Provokd, Atlantis, and Fnatic here. Opening the wall. Finishing that player. The attempt here, the reason for the finish, Jack, they're not going to get a point for that, but if they're close enough like they are, you get all the mats, you get all the shield.
Yep.
You basically claim the entire pile of loot as your own, since whoever got the knockdown, they don't know necessarily at that point. They're not going to get it. The top center of your screen, 2 of the excellent players from Solary, Hunter and Kinstar. We've seen them in plenty of competitions in the past, and no surprise, here they are today qualifying for today's attempt to make it to New York City.
Yep, a French duo. Scary when they can kick it into gear. A beautifully placed Stink starts tagging both players. And what also that gives Kinstar is not only the damage, but the peace of mind of knowing exactly where those two are. It's almost like it's almost like you get like an outline of where they are at all times, because you see their movements. You can tell, oh, they drop down a layer. Oh, you know, now that they're safe, we know they're not in this box. Chewed Up gets beamed right there. They're going to hit the launch pad. And what I like about that from Kinstar and Hunter is there's no hesitation. They don't try to continue beaming that box. They know that there's no way that player can be rezzed with the zone at their back, and now the elimination comes on in because the player's already taking 5+ tick damage of the storm, plus the damage that you get when you're knocked out on the ground. They're going to drop real quick.
Still see a handful of players and ballers rolling around in here. Somebody should close Discord.
As Boyer
landing just on the edge of the storm. Even though you may take the 10 damage to the storm, he's going to go ahead and pop one of the 2, by the way, slurps that he's sitting on. And it's the ceiling, and Scotty gets caught off guard in the elimination here. Another free 50 for the Siphon. That slurp is going to top him off here in a second. Grabs one of the 2 Rift-to-Goes, and Boyer and Kripa still in this, the top-down view on the entire map.
And this is a brilliant time to pop this Rift-to-Go, because look at how many players are remaining in this game. They're nearly at that top 15 for the placement points. You wind up taking that Rift-to-Go, your odds of being shot down and eliminated while this is happening on the low ground is much, much lower. So it's the lesser of 2 evils. You go up top, you float around, hope that really no one gives you the time of day to look up top, and instead everyone else just has absolute insanity break loose down low.
It's funny that Kripa and Boyer have landed now. They're not the top layer. Provokd, Majin have that top down on everyone.
Yep.
Ultimate high ground, but they're in a safe enough spot that they can just rotate in ahead of everybody. They don't have to worry too much.
Top 15.
Inkblide, Mirwana with 3 eliminations between the 2 of them. Top 15, like you said. We have placement points coming out. The rocket from above doesn't take damage to it. Still at 150, but it was very, very close, Jack. Yep. Boxing is going to happen here. 105 builds. They're doing great on materials. Inkblide is honestly in one of the better spots from anybody we can see right now. The bottom section of your screen is very, very thick.
There's still so many players left in this one. Majin right now building on up, trying to match these players that are nearby. A nice 119 tag. This inventory stacked on up. Only 3 shotgun shells left. Might have to call for Provokd to drop some on the ground if possible. RPG now reloaded, and here comes the spray up top. They'll make sure they have cover from the low ground. And when you start to spray up top, it forces the players who are floating to try to glide on down quick. That's Boyer and Kripa, who use their second of the rifts. RPGs should begin to rain down low, but you know, at the same time, you think Majin probably knows, hey, I've only got 3 of these left. I want to make sure if I'm going to shoot these, I've got a high chance of getting a limb. Right now, with vision of nobody, doesn't feel the need to shoot them quite yet.
It feels safe enough at this point. They're not really getting challenged on the high ground, so you're not seeing pyramids come out, but an opportunity to save some builds. The branch they're on is...
It's a little bit high up, and it's not held up by much.
I was going to say, Provokd notices that as well, starts to drop in. Mirwana ticking out there, outside. Boyer gets eliminated. That duo is out. Still a pair from E11. Stompy and his teammate are still in there. Lazy still alive. 8 players, 6 duos total, which means there's only 2 sets of 2. Majin and Provokd have the high ground on everybody, Jack. And the other duo, low ground warriors, down there at the bottom. Every player that's in the middle, all 4 of them, they're all solos. And Inkblide pays the price, gets caught off guard there. 6 players left, Jack.
It's the 2 duos just like sandwiching everyone and eliminating them right now. But now, Atlantis and Fnatic wind up dropping on in. Provokd and Majin go for it. The RPG hits both. Hawkers by themselves, and there's just no way. Majin, 3 limbs in the final moment right there. It escalated so quickly, I wasn't even ready for it, Lupo. And that's because they had the high ground, and instead of kind of waiting and trying to force their way through the build, they dropped down into the zone in front of the build, catching their opponent basically completely off guard because they were realizing they were slowly just building ceilings and not building a complete box around them. In the end, it winds up spelling disaster for the E11 duo on the low ground. And Majin, known as one of the better players in Europe,